Ohio's Small Business Spotlight, where every single week we do our very best to introduce you to the businesses that make up of our community. Powered by Greg Fay Insurance and the man, the myth, the legend, Greg Fay is with me today. Greg, tell us who's on the podcast.
Well, I tell you, anybody who watched Brian Hunter's podcast from 937 Payroll, I think Brian spent a great deal of time hyping Jay from Liftoff Entertainment, and I don't even feel like I need to do much. We are so happy to have you here, Jay.
Awesome. I appreciate it, and no pressure, huh?
Yeah.
No pressure. Everyone's watching. Jay, let's start with your story a little bit. You were telling me before we hit record, 2006, paint the picture. What happened and how did the University of Dayton become instrumental in bringing us here 15 years later?
Yeah. So quick background on me. I'm originally a transplant to Dayton. I'm from St. Louis. Go Cardinals. Hopefully that doesn't tell anybody to turn this podcast off.
I
but go
just turned
Cardinals.
it off.
Well, we're
Go
thankful
Red
that
Lions.
everybody joined us today, and Jay
That's
obviously
it. That's
knocked
it.
it out of the park. I hope everybody has a great, really enjoys. We'll have a guest on next week.
I'm on a podcast with a Michigan fan and a Cardinals fan. Where has my life gone wrong?
Jay, keep going, brother. I'm
Welcome to
messing around.
Dayton, Ohio, Tony. Right? Originally went to the University of Dayton to do an undergrad degree. Graduated in 2006. I traveled the country for 3 years working for a marketing company. Had a blast, but got tired of the road and came back to Dayton to do an MBA. And my first class in UD's MBA program was a business plan writing class. So an elective. And I was like, let's just try this thing out and put something real together versus some fictitious business that we're going to try. So I had a little bit of previous DJ experience, a lot of event experience from the road. So literally wrote a business plan over a semester about a entertainment company. Purposely kept it an entertainment company just to leave it open. So DJs, and then we were looking at photo booths right when the photo booths started getting popular. So we've kind of taken the leading edge of entertainment and tried to play in that space.
So everybody's got to be thinking, man, is it really even a business when all the dude is doing is having fun? I mean, people got to think that right there. But us three and anybody who's been on our show or anybody who's been in the cockpit of a business knows that, yeah, you probably love it. Yeah, it's probably a ton of fun. But what were some of the battles that you originally had to fight through when you're getting started? Or really, we hear business owners talk about struggles that they hit midstream. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, you've been doing this for, I mean, almost 20 years now. There's a lot of people that are going to watch clips from this podcast right here, and they want to know, what can Jay teach me? I know he can teach me how to have fun, and DJs have fun doing what they do with the photo booth and everything. But what's something that you really, a hurdle you had to jump over that you didn't see coming?
I mean, obviously, first was customers, right? I'm a brand new DJ, had to figure that out. Really, I just tapped into my network of Dayton, Ohio, and that's my favorite part about Dayton, Ohio. Is it's small town, but you can get to know anybody, any business. You just got to get out and do a little bit of legwork. I did some stuff with the Dayton Dragons and was able to kind of travel around the city, doing some stuff with the Dragons and kind of built my network that way. And just kind of have grown it. Liftoff Entertainment is kind of just a word of mouth referral business. We don't do a ton of event marketing or marketing in general. That's kind of changed a little bit with some of the couple of things that we've done, but really it's word of mouth. I DJ'd your friend's wedding 5 years ago, you're getting married now. I've DJ'd countless number of weddings, corporate holiday parties, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, one of the things that's interesting about the work that you do is that it's more than just a DJ brand, but it's entertainment. You also have a couple of sub brands, that have to do with finding these kind of experiences. So much like one of our previous guests, you're in the experience business. How do you measure what success looks like when you're talking about people's experience?
So a couple of things, right? It's what do people want, right? Any event that we do, we consider ourselves a partner in it, right? This isn't a liftoff entertainment show. We're not, hey guys, come DJ, come dance, right? It's definitely we're partners in it, and in the event world and in what we do, it's creating those experiences, right? We don't mind taking requests from guests as DJs. We want their input, right? We're not a club DJ, which is a whole kind of different animal. But also with the other experiences, right? The photo booths, how do you have an experience, but then keep moving on? I don't want a huge line at a photo booth, right? We're not bringing a Foy's Halloween store of props with a photo booth, right? How do you have a great experience? Get your picture and then go back to the dance floor or go get dessert or whatever it is. Our brand is literally kind of based around mini moments. How do you have a moment and then move to the next thing?
Well, the cool thing about our podcast is business owners get a chance to talk about what they do. And the common thread that Tony and I hear over and over is that people love what they do. But I think sometimes a business owner can be so in love with what they do that they miss what the customer might want to build into it. What are one of the wants, desires, needs that they have? I know I've talked to business owners and they're so hard charging about, I know what you want, I'm going to give you what you want, and really don't sit down and listen to the customer. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience, whether, I don't know if you call it onboarding or if you talk, an initial interview with the customer? How do you determine what they want so that you can craft that experience to, liftoff entertainment can't look the same every single time. There's got to be a lot of differences, and that comes from you listening. What do you listen to? What's the mechanism you use to listen?
It's conversations. That's literally what it is. We kind of have a suite of products that we've done before, we know work well, but we're also not opposed to thinking outside the box, right? I was DJing at Art in the City downtown last year, and they had this really cool interactive chalkboard wall, right? And it's like, I can do that, right? That's something cool that we can add to the experience. Let's test it out. Let's build it. Let's try it. And let's see, so it's with us, the DJs and the photo booths are kind of our bread and butter. But we're also kind of expanding to open up some more potential revenue streams, and expanding and growing. And how do we do that?
But one of the interesting parts about your work is that it's what you're offering is very people dependent. The people that you hire have to be critical. It looks like you've got some DJs on your website that have been around for a long time. When you're looking to hire, what's the number one quality that you're looking for in someone before you say, you know what, you're liftoff material?
Tony, I think you could have answered this yourself. It's definitely the personality, right? That's the stuff I can't train. Somebody who's fun, can have fun, but understand the role. But then also, put a little of their sauce on it. I can train anybody how to DJ a wedding, a corporate holiday party, how to run music bingo. You got to have some fun. You got to have some personality, or we're just sticks in the mud.
So a lot of times business owners struggle with, I know Tony and I a lot of times are confronted face to face with who we're talking to. Tony more so from a corporate board because he sits and does executive level coaching. I'm a lot of one-on-one. You're so much bigger in that you have a wedding party, a corporate party, an event that is going on. Tony and I have to be able to read the face of the individual that we're talking to one on one. How are you able to read the room and, boy, something is off here? I've got to make an adjustment. What are some things that you do there that a client may go, that's the reason I would consider hiring this cat, because he just shared this example right here where things maybe not going off the rails. That's probably a little bit dramatic, but you know when you have a captive audience and if you're vibing with everything that they want. What adjustments have you had to make, and what do you make?
So I would kind of, I'm going to spin that question a little bit, but just say that at every single event Liftoff Entertainment does, we have multiple clients. And we train our team to understand that and realize that, right? You have the person who's booking us, you have the person who's paying for the service, you have a potential sponsor, you've got the bride and groom, for example, you've got the guests of the wedding, you've got the people who are attending a festival or music event, right? It's so understanding those clients, and like I said, it's how do you have that moment with that client that they remember it, and say, yeah, dude, this is cool.
One of the things that I appreciate about your work is the brand Liftoff. It's very easily identifiable. It tells a story. You live pretty close to me, so I've seen your truck in the drive. How did you come to the branding decisions on, what it would look like, and take us through a little bit of that journey? I think there are a lot of business owners who struggle with, how do I make my brand stand out?
So this was literally kind of business plan 101 back in the University of Dayton in 2010, right? I was sitting on a couch in my apartment, and what do we call this thing, right? And how do you have something descriptive, right, that people can latch onto and understand? But there's nothing in our brand that says music, right? We've kind of built the brand around it. We've purposely left it open to encompass party putters and bubble fun events, right? Liftoff Entertainment is truly a event entertainment company. As a business owner, you can kind of call it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be fill the dance floor entertainment, right? It builds something that has some visual representation to it, right? It's Liftoff Entertainment. We launched legendary events.
Take us back. I know Tony has probably dealt with a ton of clients, and when I've dabbled a little bit in small business consulting, well, I have an insurance agency, so I'm dealing with trying to train new agents right now. Let's go back to the beginning. I love what you said, because I've said this to my insurance agent so many times. I started with my natural market. The people that knew me, cared about me, wanted to see me succeed. So I knew that there was going to be some footing. You could gain some traction. So that's easy. But the next thing that you said, networking, expanding, and now your word of mouth. Some business owner that's just getting started is going, okay, that's really easy for Jay to say that he just gets word of mouth, referrals all the time now. How did you cultivate that back from where you just simply started with your natural market?
For us, it's kind of picking the events and that we want to be known for, not and being able to say no. It was hard, definitely at first, right? Can you do this? Can you do that? We have what we call kind of our trusted event. We know that it's the people who would book us for their next party, right? You know, we do a lot with NCR Country Club, right? At the end of the day, there's some people there that could be future clients and our clients of us. We've got a lot of referrals just from rocking some fun events, whether it's a Halloween party with a DJ and mini golf and multiple concepts, or it's, you know, a simple photo booth for a Valentine's Day thing.
That's so good. One of the things that I'm always curious about is the decision-making process for expansion. A lot of business owners are always trying to decide when do you lean in, when do you lean out. You've got several brands underneath your umbrella. What's the decision-making process been like for you to say, you know what, let's go ahead and add bubbles to this party?
So the bubbles literally came from my 3-year-old, my probably 2-year-old, right? Of here's a birthday party, right? My brain is always business, what's next kind of a thing. She loved bubbles. I started digging into bubbles. Can I make my own bubble solution? And then I found a foam cannon, and it's like, what is this thing? And this is cool. This is new. This is different. What's this going to cost me? And if it's a low enough kind of educated guess barrier to entry, if it works, great. And if it doesn't, I'm out $3,000, right? Kind of a thing. It's a lot of educated guesses.
I love it. Yeah.
But they're educated guesses, right? I see reels all the time of, oh, this would be cool, this would be great. But then taking a step back and thinking, would this work for an event, right? Is this something our clients would want? Or does this move the needle for Liftoff Entertainment?
Boy, I tell you, you're going to have to reel some business owners and entrepreneurs back in here, because you said something that a new business owner or a new entrepreneur thinks that you can never say. You said that you had to decide that there were going to be some no's right off the bat as far as business. And I know in training my agents and working with any small business owners, and Tony knows 100 times over, when you're first starting out, you think you got to take every single up. And it can lead to some bumpy things. It can lead to some bad experiences. How did you have the posture to immediately identify, I'm going to have to say no to some things, and it really doesn't matter what they were, but that took a lot of courage to plant that flag right off the bat and say, these are some things I don't do. What advice could you give to a business owner that thinks, I got to take everything? I got to take every client that walks in the door initially.
Looking back probably 20 years, I was probably a yes to everything, but learned real quickly you had to say no. I think for me, it was, is this profitable for me? And if it's not profitable for me, does this move the needle for the business? And if it doesn't do that, you just got to stick to your guns. You got to say, here's my plan. Here's where we see ourselves going. And here's our ideal client. How do we get to that person? And if that doesn't get there, it's going to be a no. And a lot of that is kind of now determined by pricing, right? Our weddings, we're not the cheapest guy on the block. Right? I have nothing against a VFW hall wedding, but that's just not our market. And we're pretty upfront with our inquiries, especially for weddings, of saying, here's our starting at price. You know, we'd love to work with you if this works. If not, here's some potential other people, or here's who I would possibly recommend.
Love that.
So good. You've given us so much to think about today, Jay. I now have to ask you the hardest question that we ask every business owner every single week. We love good referrals. So we're curious, what are the 2 or 3 businesses local to the Miami Valley that are small businesses that we can lift up? Maybe some of your friends, maybe some of your favorite places and spaces. 3 names of people that we should be talking to on the Ohio Small Business Spotlight.
So I'll give you 2 business owners
Love that.
and 1 organization.
Perfect.
All right.
So Steve Tieber, Dublin Pub,
Love Steve Tieber.
No,
Right?
love it.
right? Everybody knows Dublin Pub, St. Patty's Day. I would love to sit and drink a Guinness with Steve and try to figure that out, right? How do you throw St. Patty's Day? So Steve Tieber, Chris Dimmick. I don't know if you know Chris Dimmick. Chris Dimmick is one of the owners of the Idea Collective. Do you guys know Tender Mercy, Sueño, Three Birds?
I do, yep. Mm-hmm.
So he's one of the owners of that, is a transplant and is an absolute rock star, moving the hospitality needle there. So there's your 2 business owners. And I'm going to put a little plug in. I sit on the board of the Entrepreneur Center.
Oh, man.
So the Entrepreneur Center does some amazing things, and they don't toot their own horn enough, and they know that I tell them that all the time. But the Entrepreneur Center does a ton of amazing things, and for this kind of podcast, the Small Business Development Centers, the SBDCs of the area, is one of the top notches. They've won some awards recently. They have some great advisors, mentors, and you're not paying a dime for what they do.
Tony, did you prep him? Because he nailed it. We've never had somebody like
You know what
bang,
happened
bang,
is he
bang.
went back and he listened to that Payroll 937 episode, heard all the people talking about him, and was like, I'm not going to be unprepared.
Nope.
That's what good DJs do. They come prepared.
They do.
Well, Jay, listen, on behalf of Greg and our entire Small Business Spotlight family, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast today. As always, we believe, and you know to be true, that the small business is the backbone to our community. So thank you for continuing to lift up what we do as a community and being a part of our little part of Ohio. And so thank you, and we can't wait to connect with all of you in the future as we continue to do episodes. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube and follow the Ohio Small Business Spotlight, sponsored by Greg Fay Insurance. Until next week,